GMS Mississippi Camp, giving all honor and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakudash. I also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, rule well. Peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. It was a hot spirit we in Judah. And today I want to go into a topic entitled The Sea Help and the Digital Grid Slave Dystopia. The Sea Help and the Digital Grid Slave Dystopia. All right. So what is a grid slave? What you see here, what majority of us live on, is what you call the power grid. It's a grid that's powered by electricity. It's the grid that gives power to your house or apartment where you turn a switch on and you have electric lights. You have a running faucet. All right. You have running water in your restroom. All right. That's the power grid. It's powered by the grid. All right. It's actually powered by a power grid. All right. So, but what happens is you've integrated into this power grid that gives you great convenience. It gives you a Roman first class citizen type lifestyle, in which you can have your convenient food through groceries or fast food, or you can have sports and entertainment, and it's usually all within the same vicinity. So, for example, you live in a city, and in the downtown area, you have sports bars, you have clubs, you have gentlemen's clubs, you have churches, you have um, all type of events. Okay, you have schools. All right, and the thing they all have in common is that they're all in the same vicinity. All right, and that all takes place within the power grid. Also within the power grid, you have the internet. All right, so as long as you live in a power grid, you're gonna always have access to the internet. Also, you have communication with your cell phone. So within this power grid, all right, within this power grid, all right, it gives you access to all the things around you. All right. Also, you have things like Amazon where you can order things and get it priority shipped to your house within a day. All right. Same thing with UPS. You know, things like that really only happen in the ancient world to people who had wealth. All right, you can order things through catalog and it gets shipped to you. That's where we get the term a shipment. All right, because it came by way of a ship. Also have a term called shipping and handling. All right, because it has to get shipped out by way of ships. And so you had the Panama Canal, which was a shortcut for ships, all right, to come to America, bringing what? Imports. Okay, but it's not just giving access people who. It's not only the rich who have access to this type of treatment. It's all citizens within the power grid. All right, as long as you have a cell phone, as long as you have the internet, or you have access to these things. All right. So, but what you've been deprived of for the average grid slave and the average grid citizen is ownership and sovereignty. All right. So as it says in the scriptures, let me let up my window right quick. Gotta remain inconspicuous about my dealings. All right. All right. So, long story short, he causes both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a M-A-R-K in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right. So, if just like the great pandemic that happened in 2020, a lot of people were given an ultimatum that if they didn't take the SHOT, that they wouldn't have a job. All right. But that was just a little baby trial run. All right. To see how people will react to that. All right. But when that C hill gets here, you're gonna get kicked off the grid if you refuse to take that C hill. You can't plug back into that power grid. That C hill is your citizenship to the convenience that comes with living on that power grid. Right. A lot of people in the Western world, all right, especially the 12 tribes, we think that life on the power grid is life itself. They think that's the only way to live. All right. But like I said, what a lot of us don't that we lost sovereignty in exchange to live like first class citizens in the Roman Empire through this power grid or through Eve's power grid. Okay? So the reason why I call it the C help, which is was the MARK, okay, The reason why I call it the sea hip, because I mean the reason why I call it the sea hip, um, the grid slave dystopia, all right? Because what is a dystopia? It's a dark totalitarian post-apocalyptic society. Totalitarian where you directly ruled by the elites, and there's no more covert, but it's post-apocalyptic. So usually this society exists after some great event happened, such as the Book of Eli. That was a dystopian society, all right, because it was post-apocalyptic after the nuclear missiles hit. All right. Movies like Hunger Games was post-apocalyptic. Movies like um, oh, damn, Oblivion with Tom Cruise, post-apocalyptic. John Legend, post-apocalyptic. But most of those movies had the same thing. It's a rich elite that's running everybody. All right. And the way they're gonna run you, and the way you're gonna be a slave, is through that sea hip. If you want to plug back into society, all right, you want to get away from the chaos. You want to go back to your convenience and your normalcy, and taking your resources for granted, taking your food and water for granted, knowing it's going to be there. All right, as opposed to being in survival mode, you're gonna have to take that sea help, man. All right, and that's the picture that's painted within the blueprint of the New World Order, is that everybody's gonna be a fucking slave. All right, a slave on the power grid, and your currency is gonna be a credit system within that sea help. All right, like the movie End Time, another dystopian movie. All right, you're gonna be a slave. You're gonna be a slave on that power grid, man. All right, and we're already grid slaves, but all right, because it tells you in the scriptures we're gonna be subject to payments. But that sea hip is a token of ownership, that you no more belong to Yahweh or the Most High. You belong to the elites. He's branded you with his all, and the all is a token of your allegiance to your slave master. Okay, so for the 2/3 of our people who want to stay on them that oppress them, they're gonna receive that sea help, man. All right, but to put it all into perspective through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, your sea help is your mark, your brand of citizenship. All right, for the dystopian grid slave society, in which you'll be a grid slave. Or you don't have sovereignty, you don't have rulership, but you have access. You have access to the power grid. All right, you're gonna have access to this 6G, whatever G they're gonna have it tapped into. You're gonna have access to the bread and circuses of Rome. You're gonna have access to normalcy. All right, and as you can see, Americans are addicts to normalcy. Like a brother said in the camp, they weaponize normalcy. They weapon they so like they weaponize convenience. So if fast food restaurants stop serving food, you're gonna bug out. Even during the pandemic that happened in 2020, 2021, all right, it was certain restaurants that was out of state, and people went crazy. It was steaks in the grocery stores, but the fact that there were no steaks inside the restaurants, people went crazy, man. Showing you when there's actually no food in the store. You were born and raised just knowing that there's gonna be food in your stores, man. Or you're gonna bug out, man. All right. But that's pretty much the point, man. I hope you brothers and sisters were edified. The water for tapping in. All right, while you going through your day to day, hopefully this is a little edification, a little nutrition in the spirit for you brothers as well as sisters. With that, I hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Till the next time, shalom.